Inspirational Creatives, episode 216. Welcome to Inspirational Creatives. I'm your host, Rob Lawrence. Join me every Friday as I chat with successful artists, producers, and creative entrepreneurs who share powerful stories and strategies. They can help you to create the life that you want. Listen each week as these inspirational creatives show you how to take your creativity to the next level. You'll learn how to create a sustainable business that inspires others and gives you the financial freedom and lifestyle that you want. Thanks for listening. Make sure you sign up at inspirationalcreatives.com to get free exclusive bonus material. And now, on with the show. Rob here, and a very warm welcome to Inspirational Creatives. Each day for the next 30 days, I'll be sharing with you an idea, a piece of inspiration or wisdom that I feel will help you to add more creativity to your life and business. Today is Sunday and episode 216, and we're already over halfway through the series of 30 days of daily inspiration on the Inspirational Creatives podcast. If you're new to the podcast, Inspirational Creatives is a podcast series that helps you to take your creativity to the next level. Normally, there's an interview every Friday, followed by a short action episode every Wednesday. However, just to spice things up a little, since episode 200, I've chosen to offer you 30 days of daily inspiration to help you get ready for 2018. And that's exactly what this episode, number 216, is all about. Extending from yesterday's theme in episode 215 about living with less, sometimes to achieve more, we need to do less. For many folks, more is more, but for me and many of the very successful folks that I'm lucky enough to rub shoulders with, it's often about bigger results through subtraction than it is about adding more to the pot. So in this episode, I'd like to invite you to think about your aims and desires for next year, 2018, and think about what it is that you want to achieve and what it is you're going to stop doing next year to free yourself up to achieve your most ambitious aims and ideas. One of the greatest ways that I've found to approach this is to start by asking yourself powerful questions, like what's the one big thing that by the end of 2018 I would love to have achieved? What would a successful 2018 look like for me? For many of us, we've got a lot on our plate. Sometimes we might feel overwhelmed about what we can offer and what we're committed to. So sometimes it's important to trim off the fat, the excess, and to start getting lean with our effort and effectiveness. This often means analysing what it is that we're doing and committing to, and to become more effective at operating in our zone of genius, as Gay Hendricks, author of The Big Leap, would call it. So what does it mean to operate in our zone of genius? Well, it certainly doesn't mean doing the stuff that we're incompetent at. And it doesn't actually mean even doing the stuff that we're good at. In fact, it doesn't mean doing the stuff we're even excellent at, which is where most of us, even some of the most successful amongst us, spend most of our time. It means doing the stuff that we're genius at. The rest has to either be delegated, systematized, automated, outsourced, or simply stopped altogether. So you might want to ask yourself, what am I tolerating right now? What am I having to put up with that I don't want in my life anymore? Then start thinking about the commitments you have and the work that you do, and ask yourself honestly, what am I competent at? What am I incompetent at? What don't I like doing? What am I excellent at that I must let go of, so that I can focus on the stuff that only I can uniquely do? You might want to explore your zone of genius, and this is a conversation for another day. But for right now, a good start is often figuring out what it isn't before figuring out what it is. It's often a lot easier to start figuring out what it is by figuring out what it isn't. So what are you going to stop doing next year so that you have more time doing what it is you are great at? A great example of this journey for me was in episode 165, when I spoke with former NFL cheerleader and business coach Kelly Roach, who shared with me what she had to give up to achieve the creative life and business that she wanted.
Yeah, well, one of the big things for me, Rob, was that I started my business while I was working full time. And one of the reasons why I started my business was because after being promoted 7 times in 8 years and traveling all over the country and, really doing the whole corporate 9-to-5 thing, I made it to the top of corporate America, which was great. I was burnout, I was exhausted, and I knew that I needed a major life change if I wanted my life to reflect my value system. And so I started my business on the side because I was a breadwinner for my family. And it was at that time that I had to learn how to reduce my work week by 20 plus hours in order to make time to start my business, while at the same time keeping my results going in my full-time job. It was in that time, Rob, that I really focused on learning about systems and automation and strategy and productivity. In the process of reducing my working hours by 20 plus, I tripled my income by starting and growing my own business while still, sustaining that. And so a major focus in my business, Rob, because number one, so many people out there today are juggling being at home with kids and starting a business, or working full time and starting a side hustle, or managing more than one business. I mean, no one has a simple situation. And so everyone that I talk to feels like they don't have enough time. I mean, we all hear that from everyone that we know. And so I focus a lot on that because there's really no point in me teaching you business growth strategy if, number one, you don't have time to implement it, and number two, you're going to be miserable when you do because you're working 24 hours a day and not getting a chance to live life. So it's really about remembering why you're getting into business or why you got into business, and keeping that intention in mind with everything that you do so that you don't get 5 or 10 years down the road and either have regret or feel like you want to rip down everything that you just built because you hate the new job that you created for yourself, if that makes sense.
It all comes back to your why and why it is you do what you do. What's your purpose for 2018 and what are you going to stop doing? What are you willing to sacrifice or give up towards getting there? As Kelly put it to me,
is this going to get me to my ultimate goal?
So what is it you're going to stop doing in 2018? Let me know how you get on, and particularly if you get stuck with any of this stuff, I'd love to help you. Don't hesitate to email me at rob@inspirationalcreatives.com, and I look forward to catching up with you again tomorrow for another day of daily inspiration. Thanks for listening. Nothing beats the stories and advice of an expert to help you raise your creative game. I would love to know what you thought about today's episode, so don't forget to subscribe in iTunes where you can rate and review the show. If you like this episode, I invite you to share it on Facebook or Twitter with the one person you know who will benefit from the wisdom shared here today. You can find the show notes on inspirationalcreatives.com/podcast. If you have a burning question or a great idea for a guest, head on over to inspirationalcreatives.com/contact, where you can connect with me there.